Here we are on the beautiful Star Princess, heading for our 4th trip to Hawaii. We got upgraded to beautiful balcony rooms with fantastic views. We are now heading up to Horizon Court for lunch. And it sounds strange, but the first lunch we had was hamburger, fries, and salad. They make this really great fries and salad on there. This is the beautiful Star Princess. This is our first trip to Hawaii on the Star Princess. Right in front of us was a battleship.
The Iowa.
The Iowa. And here we are standing on top of the bridge as we are heading out to sea. Diane's blowing bubbles there.
It's a little cleaner than confetti.
And right behind us is the Golden Princess. Now, we've gone the other 3 times we went to Hawaii, we went on the Golden Princess. 2 of those we went with Linda and Dave Michaels. And there is the beautiful Golden Princess. The 2 ships are almost identical. Very few differences in them. And here's Diane and I and the Golden Princess following us out to sea. And here's my beautiful baby at our balcony, on our balcony. And this is me sitting there on the balcony, obviously. And there is the Golden Princess headed off to a California tour while we're heading to Hawaii.
And, of course, they make the most amazing gluten-free pizza on this ship for my honey. So we enjoyed that right away.
This is Diane sitting in the atrium, which is a place where they had lots of good music and stuff. And here we are at the bar, the Wheelhouse Bar, dancing to Phoenix Rising. This band could play anything you ask it to play, all the way from Lawrence Welk music to up to the modern day music. This is the next morning. I got coffee for my baby. That's even though you can get room service, that's what I like to do, is go get coffee. This is the beautiful sky.
The water was so glassy that you could see the reflection of the clouds in it. I have never been at sea with it that smooth. So we were very, very blessed to have that balcony where we can enjoy it early in the morning. And
here we are doing a walk around the promenade deck. We did 8 to 12 miles a day on the promenade deck. And then this is the formal picture for the first formal night. And we're walking around different parts of the ship on our way to dinner, getting pictures taken. We usually only buy a couple of the formal pictures, but we take a whole bunch ourselves. We are down in the atrium here getting some pictures. And we're having a seat in one of the lounges where they have good music playing. This is on the promenade deck also, but only on the inside. Now we're going in the Explorer Lounge. This is one of the venues that plays 50s, 60s, and 70s music, and we go and dance here. Here is our dinner table, and this is our staff.
Rodell was our head waiter, and Audie was his assistant, and then we had some very nice table guests that we shared 2 weeks with. And of course, after dinner, we went dancing. That's our favorite activity on the ship, and there's always so many different places to go. And then, of course, a walk home under the stars was just beautiful, beautiful weather. It was so warm already, you could go without a jacket. Next morning, paying the price for that wonderful dinner at the Zumba class out on deck, which was really, really nice to be able to be outside and exercising in the fresh air.
And then here's some pictures of, besides the place where we eat dinner, this is the 24-hour buffet restaurant, and they actually have 2 of them, one on each side of the ship, and they keep alternating different foods. So there's just a tremendous variety of foods, and I'm talking Indian, Mexican, American. I mean, it just, amazing the amount of foods they put out. And here's the dessert case, and beautiful gluten-free desserts every day for me, along with other desserts. And here we are at the end of the ship at the aft part, and we called this Niagara Falls because of the music. And we celebrated my birthday on board.
So they decorate your cabin with balloons and something on the door, and then we were up at the there was drinks and appetizers up in one of the bars for Gordon to enjoy. And then, indeed, we had cake with everybody at our table that night, and they come and sing happy birthday.
They make you feel real special. And then after dinner, a trip down to the Wheelhouse Bar for dancing.
And needless to say, the bears were all ready to hit the Hawaiian Islands. They were out in their sun things, and you could tell the weather changed one more time, even warmer still, because here we are walking the deck in our light clothes and just enjoying the sunshine, the fresh air. It was really cool.
And upcoming, this is the room that we had, which was really fantastic. They have refrigerators, everything that you possibly need in there, and then that beautiful veranda deck to enjoy our morning coffee and just sitting out there. You can see how nice the seas were. It was just totally incredible. We have never done a crossing that the seas were as smooth as this. From our veranda, this is looking forward, and that's the bridge at the and then this next picture is looking straight down below us, and then that is looking to the aft, to the rear part of the ship right there. Upcoming is the movies under the star. Great movies. We saw Star Trek while we were there, and they had the football, baseball for the guys, and just all kinds of full-length features, couple full-length features a day. You can see the swimming pool there, and then this is the forward part of the ship, one of the private pools that Diane likes to go to that's just for adults. Again, the movies under the stars, and then on the deck that we're on, this is our private pool. It's and this is a good friend of ours. We really became to love him.
He was from the Philippines and worried about his family, rightfully so. Brazilian nut tort, again, gluten-free dessert. Here we are moving on toward the islands and getting ready to dock our first day in Hilo. We were up early and enjoying the views as we came into the big island of Hawaii.
And even though they have room service, my job every day is to get coffee. I like to get up early and go out and get coffee. It gives Diane a chance to wake up a little bit. And, I just really love walking the ship in the morning. And here we are at the big island of Hawaii. That's our pilot boat, because they don't allow the captain to bring the boat in. They have a pilot that comes on board to bring the boat in because he knows all the different channels. On the way in is a guy. That's a picture of him. Here's a close-up with a dog on his board.
His stand-up board. And then in the mornings you would hear, they call it the Wake Show, and that was Dave and Lei Aloha from Hilo that are on our ship bringing Hawaiian culture to us as we do the crossing. Here we are, birthed in Hilo, and then that evening getting ready to leave, you could just see there was a lot of cloud cover, but it was absolutely beautiful. We were right by the Coast Guard yard. Next day, we headed into Oahu, and we're off for a hike on Diamond Head.
Diamond Head is unbelievable. It's what I call once in a lifetime. I don't know if I would want to do this walk again. It is totally incredible. I'm 65 years old, and I made it to the top of Diamond Head, and I am proud of that. I had a guy that right behind us that was like about 35 years old, and he got to the top, his eyes rolled back in his head, and he passed out and hit his head on the cement.
The hike is about a 600-foot elevation change in roughly 40 minutes, so it's a very aggressive and hard hike. It's high too. The elevation is high to begin with, kind of barren looking, green at the bottom, and then as you go toward the top, it gets considerably drier. But of course, it's mostly volcanic. Nice restways along the way to enjoy the views.
They used Diamond Head during World War I and World War II as a machine gun outpost and for cannons they had up there for when we were fighting the Japanese and that. They would shoot from up there, and anybody that would try to come and get the big guns, of course, they had the machine gun turrets. Here's the trails. You can see all the switchbacks and all the people on the trails going up there, just up, 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 up.
And then we were grateful for a little cloud cover. It kept the heat from becoming overly intense. Trust me, it was plenty warm, but if we'd been in direct sunshine, it would have been worse.
There's one of the cannon turrets that shot the big guns. And here we are, further up, about halfway up the hill. This is as far as they could bring the ammunition with machinery. From here on, at the halfway point, they had to carry it up. And as you can see, there's big hills all the rest of the way up by hand.
I feel sorry for anybody that got in the bad graces of their commanders.
And here's the trails going up. We just went by the city, and this is one of the tunnels. You have to actually walk through the mountain in many places, and so you walk up these great big steps and into the tunnels.
They were very narrow. You could hardly pass in them, so I'm sure when the guys had to carry supplies, it was a one-way trip for them, up and then down.
This is one of the machine gun turrets. There's actually one on top of the other. When we get up closer, you can see it, but that's the machine gun turrets that were up there to keep people from charging the mountain. Beautiful views. Everywhere you look, just beautiful views. Again, another look at the machine gun turrets. Vistas, city vistas everywhere.
Here's kind of a close-up of how those turrets were built into the hill, so their approaching enemies couldn't even see them. Amazing technology. Here's Gordon saluting his Coast Guard salute for the men that worked before him. And from here you can look down on the lighthouse.
The commander of the Coast Guard lives in that lighthouse, so would be nice duty, nice place to live.
Finally, we hit the top.
This is where the guy keeled over, and just look how beautiful it is up here.
The views of Honolulu behind us are so pretty.
And that's sweat on me. That's not water. Beautiful waters, beautiful views. It would be nice to have a house up on top of there. And an elevator to get you there. Again, that's one of the big gun turrets right there. And this is a survey mark. Diane and I are standing around a survey mark. All surveys of this island come from this geological survey mark. And they do all the surveys from there. And here we are heading back down the hill through the tunnels. A lot easier going down that hill than it is going up that hill.
The nice thing on the way down is you could pause every now and again and enjoy the views. Here's like a look back at the Ko'olaus. Again, just so scenic and pretty, but it's amazing how developed the island is. It's supposedly more densely populated than even some of our big cities here on the mainland.
Like they claim to be bigger than San Francisco. I find that hard to believe. There's our gas station coming up. It costs $1.5 million in fuel to get over there, is what they say, and that's the barge that puts the fuel on our ship. And right behind us were the Coast Guard ships. And again, I was in the Coast Guard, so I like to be by Coast Guard ships.
Here's the Aloha Clock Tower. And then we went into the Ala Moana Mall, and the MAC store, the makeup girls were so amazingly made up. It was the weekend before Halloween, so of course they went to town with it. And then here we are looking at some of the naval ships in the area. That evening, because our ship stays in dock until 11 p.m., they bring on the Keiki Aloha dancers, which are children of cultural Hawaiians, and they bring us the traditional dance. These guys are excellent. They've performed for 5 different presidents, so it's a long-standing tradition. The girls are just amazing and beautiful to behold, and that is a way that they share their culture with us that come and visit the islands.
And Princess hires them every single trip to come onto the ship at the Princess Theater and put this show on for us.
Here's the downtown Honolulu at night. Very beautiful city. And here's our little Aloha girls enjoying ice cream and cookies up in the Verizon Court. Of course, the bears are ready to party at any drop of the hat. That night they had a big buffet outside with all these incredible foods made out of fruits and vegetables. Totally edible, but amazingly scenic just to look at.
And in fact, we did eat them all. This is the outside deck, and the party has begun. On the video screen, they're video all of us so you can see yourself on the big screen.
So what they do is they have all these lines, and you throw your streamers over them, and then they rain down on the deck below you where the pools are and the lights, and there's dancing, and it's very festive and quite enjoyable. We'd had a little rain earlier in the evening, but it went away, and we were dry and ready for party. There's the confetti streamers going down.
And here's the next morning. Here is my gluten-free breakfast. They made me gluten-free toast every day, and now we're pulling into New Willy Willy. I love the word New Willy Willy.
That's, of course, the main harbor on the island of Kauai.
Now we're pulling out.
Yeah, that was a quick stop, but again, a beautiful, beautiful harbor, and very difficult sometimes to get in and out of.
This harbor is so small, and the way they maneuver this ship, it's amazing they can get in here. This next one shows the buoy. There's a red buoy, and then you can see just how we have to come out. We have to go between these buoys. Look at how close that is. We're coming out the side of that. And then there's the red and the green buoy there. We have to take the ship between that, then make it around those corner there. It's just amazing. Here's some of the local people out waving us goodbye as we leave.
You have to thread this huge ship through this like tiny Z of a harbor inlet. And again, if the conditions are not correct, the ship can't even dock this harbor.
If you dock here, you definitely want to be up and see it. And here we are back on our balcony. We're all dressed and ready for dinner, because as soon as we get through watching this takeoff here, we'll start heading to dinner.
That beautiful flower lei is I got it the day before in Oahu, and there's a lady that makes them by hand from her own garden. Here we are coming out of the harbor saying goodbye to Kauai and the lighthouse that's at the point.
And good morning, Maui. Next up is Maui. We went snorkeling in Maui. There's a little tender boat that we take in because there's no dock in Maui. And here are our friends. And it was such fun. We met up with them and split a car with them, and Sandy and Patty, and took off, and we took them to our favorite place. The place where we took them normally costs, if you want to go out there, $195 to take a boat out there, and it just cost us $33. We split a car for $33 because Diane and I know where every good place is in Maui, because of course we used to own property on Maui, lived there for 12 years.
And Randy had this amazing underwater camera, so some of these photos we have to give him credit for hitting, but these are real photos that we took that day together. This turtle here is amazing. You would pay for buying this on a postcard, and so I think Gordon's going to have to get one of these cameras in his stocking this year for Christmas, because I couldn't believe the quality. They were phenomenal.
Way better than any picture that I have ever taken with underwater cameras that I have. Some kind of a Nikon. Look at this big ball of fish here, big school of fish. They're studying geography. Now this guy is neat. This is an eel, and you normally don't see eels put on shows like this guy put on for us. He just was not afraid of us at all, and just went all over. You normally don't get to follow one as much as we got to follow this guy around. Saw several eels while we were out.
Again, the fish were just myriad, and surprisingly enough, up in Honolulu Bay, which is a marine preserve, the conditions were less than ideal. There was small surf breaking But at any rate, we were able to get out far enough where the water was clear and you could see just the amazing marine life that's there. Here's our eel looking at us again. The colors on the coral were just incredible. Here's a little butterfly tang that came by to give us a peek, and another one of his relatives. This is in the butterfly family too. Can't remember the specific name. These heads of coral are just incredible. They look like broccoli under the water.
And now we're leaving Honolulu Bay, and we're heading out to another dive spot. And here we are at the other dive spot. Again, a lot of beautiful fish. That's a trumpet fish, a yellow trumpet fish. And upcoming is another turtle. And we got a picture of him in his home.
They like to hide in the sand under the edge of a rock.
Because, of course, there's shark food in that area.
Yeah, delicacy.
And
here's Randy and Patty giving us the chakra hang 10 sign. And there's Gordon and Diane back at them. Coming on out of the Honolulu Bay Preserve is an amazing trail. It looks like a rainforest, I don't know, elven forest. It's just, the walk itself is worthy. Then we headed on over to Old Airport Beach on the Upper West Side to swim again and eat lunch.
And then, of course, another snorkel. So we got a lot of snorkeling in while we were there. We just snorkel. That's what we love to do in Maui, because Maui really is the best island to snorkel in. It has more coral, more fish than any island. Here is a humu humu, nuku nuku, apa wapa. My favorite fish to say, because I like saying humu humu, nuku nuku, apa wapa.
Again, the Coral Gardens here runs a little over a mile, and you'll see just about every kind of fish. There's a little humu and a yellow tang. This is parrotfish, which are absolutely an electric blue and beautiful color. Just miles and miles of coral beds.
And miles and miles and miles of coral bed. And it's probably maybe a quarter mile wide and a mile long. So you can just keep going down the 1 mile and then come back and then down and back and see different coral and different fish all the time. Here's a good example of what Diane was saying in that parrotfish.
Well, and as you go back and forth across the reef, there's different depths, and different fish like to live in different kind of water climates. So at one depth you may see a variety of one sort or another, and then you go in a few feet toward the shore and you'll get a whole different view.
And of course, the further out you are, the bigger the fish get. You can get some really big fish, in fact, ones that you love to put on the barbecue. Here they got a picture of me snorkeling, kind of like just hanging out, looking at something.
The human fish. Again, the little tangs tend to run in pairs. Here's one of the blackfish. I don't remember what they're called. And, of course, another picture of the humu humu nuku nuku apawa'a, which is the Hawaiian state fish, and it's a triggerfish variety. And it literally means the snout face of a pig with a colorful patchwork body.
And one thing interesting about the blackfish, they say what the natives used them for was they're real oily fish. You can't eat them. Here's another one coming up. But that they would put them on sticks and set them on fire, and they used them for torches at night.
Amazing, crazy thing to think about. But the old Hawaiians used everything.
Anybody want to go? We're willing to be your tour guide. This is our favorite trip, and we just love taking this trip. 15 days to Hawaii. We got it $900 a piece with a $700 shipboard credit. Can't beat that. So come on, go with us sometime. We're professional guides and we know this trip. And we're ready to get out of the water and head back to the ship. There is our ship and what it looks like from the Lahaina shores.
Goodbye, Maui. Here we are starting. Well, this is how far we dock out, and you have to tender in on the little boats. Here's the captain and the bridge getting ready for the takeoff.
They actually were waiting for the last people to get aboard. They just barely made it aboard a time or they'd have left them behind.
Here we are, decked out, getting ready for dinner, and the last tender coming up to the ship.
Right there. They barely made it.
And then as we left Lahaina, God provided a beautiful rainbow.
And then here I am the next morning, Diane's personal steward, bringing our coffee. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but one of the ladies at the coffee machine at the restaurant there would call me the chocolate man because I always bring chocolate to put in my coffee.
There was a walk for the Susan Komen Breast Cancer Fund that morning, and so we went out and did the walk. We were also just kind of giving a memorial to Val as we were there that day. Later on,
I bought my beautiful wife a CZ necklace, the most beautiful necklace with my shipboard credit.
So he was getting a big smooch. Bears are ready for another evening of partying, and here's the beginning of second formal night on the ship.
Again, we like walking around the ship before dinner and seeing everybody. Here is a picture of us in front of the Wheelhouse Bar, which again, this time was our favorite place to dance. It's different all the time depending on the band. Last time it was the Explorers Bar. You never know who's playing. This is our friend. What was his name?
Joseph.
Joseph, our friend Joseph. He always made us feel welcome, knew our name, got us good seats, and here's me and my baby dancing. Now we're at the captain's party.
They have a captain's party for members that have been with Princess for a while, and they do some dancing and recognizing passengers. I think the longest sea days of passengers on this ship exceeded 700 that were in residence with us.
Here we are back at dinner again, but I also want to say we were platinum members, and then now we're elite members. Here is a picture of a photographer. I decided to take her picture. And here's Diane doing line dancing at the Wheelhouse Bar. I don't line dance, so I take pictures of it. I do the other kind of dances, but not line dance. Here is a picture of that beautiful necklace that I got Diane. Then the following day was Halloween, and this ship went nuts over Halloween.
I think they had a pumpkin carving contest for the staff the night, chef staff the night before, because there was 1 million pumpkins all over the place, carved in the most unique manner. It was so fun to look at. They were just displayed everywhere, but primarily in the atrium.
They really had fantastic costumes. They made these small area rooms into neat places to go. They were amazing. Here's my gluten-free pizza chef here. That's the pumpkin that they carved, and a little later on you'll see the pumpkin eating pizza. And there we are. We're standing in front of getting in line for one of the party things that is going on there.
And then down in the piazza, here's where people hung out. And again, these are people on the ship that brought costumes with them. Some of the staff also were very well dressed and made up for just about all the staff. Here's, again, these were passengers that had dressed up. Just, again, very creative costuming.
And that's one of the crewmen made up there. And here is dancers, ship dancers made up. And here comes my pumpkin at the pizza place. He's eating a piece of pizza. Had to get a picture of my baby with a pizza-eating pumpkin. This next guy is our maitre d'. We gave all the staff candy. Diane and I bought candy at one of the island in little bags, and they appreciated it. I don't think that people don't do stuff like that, and they really appreciate it. Here's our head waiter. Again, this is at dinner.
Everybody was dressed up, and the dining room was just fully decorated with, spiders and webs, and here's this crazy sumo wrestler that came out and went around to everybody's table. It's kind of like a blow-up suit.
Now we're back at the Wheelhouse Bar. This is the same guy that you met before, Diane's buddy and my buddy.
But again, throughout the ship, everybody had just gone crazy decorating. Even our bears got into the act. The food court was just full of pumpkin desserts of every kind. And again, what they do with food to make decorations is simply to behold. That's
my gluten-free guy there that would make me toast every morning.
And this is one of the bartenders. She was made up with some kind of, camouflage stuff, but it was really quite amazing. And then our friends, Randy and Patty, gave us black leis in honor of the day. So we wore them and went to...
Oh. This guy is the evil dictator. Everybody got a kick out of him because that's a potato that's hanging down there. Here's the neat room that we went to that they actually had a nurse and 2 paramedics outside in case anybody had a heart attack. Even scared me.
The haunted hallway was put on by the ship's entertainment staff, and they would jump up at you, and there was noise and flashing lights. This was all in a very small room, and they had tunneled it with black plastic, and they put up, the smoke that they do. Everybody had just, again, amazing makeup. This particular ship's cruise director is noted for being beyond and over the top, which I have to say, he's been on the ship for, not this particular ship, but with Princess for 26 years. So he's got some incredible ideas.
Yeah, we were, 2 years ago, we were on the Golden Princess for Halloween, and they didn't even begin to do anything near what this ship did.
Even the bands got into the act, and they dressed up as some kind of, like evil butchers or whatever they called it for the night. But it was a pretty entertaining, and here we are saying goodbye to our friends.
That's actually us looking through a window at them, knocked on the window. And here's our bears. Of course, they had to get in on the act too. And movies under the star. You can see 20 speakers in that great big screen. And here's Diane's favorite place.
I just love the indoor pool, and while I'm swimming, Gordon sits there and reads his Bible. Here I am enjoying my Kindle reading. But the pool the temperature's always the same in this area, whether it's cold or hot outside, doesn't make any difference.
And the way that it is, first you have at the beginning of the ship our rooms, then you have the outside pool, then you have this inside pool, and then you have the 24-hour restaurant. So we were on the best deck.
The view looking up is just really beautiful because it's clear story windows above the pool too, so I like that. Hot tubs are great in this room. Just a lot of festivities, beautiful views everywhere you look.
And I decided while she was swimming to take a walk out on the upper decks. And so here you can see I'm looking aft now, and that's our towers. Now we're looking at dinner. That's dessert. They can't even do anything just plain here. Here's Phoenix Rising. This is the band that was playing there, and that's the drummer looks like Uncle Gordon to me, or my brother-in-law. Here's some staff that was telling us how it was to live on the ship. And then here's our last formal night, and we bought the formal night picture for this night.
We have Hawaiian formal wear, which we got several years ago in Lahaina, and it's always a big hit with everybody. We love wearing it. It just reminds us.
This is our dining
Maui.
room, the Afini dining room. And here we are after dinner walking around. We're in the atrium here. Then we went up for a late night snack. That's gluten-free strawberry pie. And then, of course, back down to work that off to Phoenix Rising at the Wheelhouse Bar. We danced and danced and danced and danced.
Line dancing again.
Then I always like to take a picture of the plaque of the ship. This is the first time we're on this ship. So this ship was made in 2002, but it was just remodeled 2 months before we got on it.
And then last night we have Dave and Lealoha singing Hawaiian for us, and they're dancers that are people from the ship that were actually doing their hula for us. So that was down in the piazza.
And there's our friend Patty right there. She was in the dance part of it.
So it was just, again, a really sweet way to come toward the end of a trip. Everybody, they do ukulele lessons, they do hula lessons, they do lei making classes. We made fresh flower leis.
And then we are in Mexico, Ensenada, Mexico.
I just think this port is so pretty with this amazing Mexican flag behind us. The tour guide there had told us that 6 out of the past 8 years, this port has won an international flag contest that includes 80 countries because their flag is so beautiful. That is replaced once a month.
He said the reason the flag is so big is because the government wants the people to know that they're above it. And there's our ship, the big, beautiful Star Princess. And here's the picture of. So we always go into town here and do a little shopping. A good place to get vanilla and different things while you're there. And then we're back on the ship, and you enjoy an empty ship while everybody's there. The next picture coming up is 5 guys with shovels that never even turned one shovel.
During the day. I don't know what they were thinking they were doing out there. And leaving the harbor again in Ensenada is just a beautiful experience, and the nighttime coastline is so pretty as you go out. Here's our little pilot boat taking us out to sea.
But it's a sad night because we know that when we wake up in the morning, we get one breakfast and then we leave the ship and head home. This is the last day. Last night.
And they did have a Monday Night Football on the big screen. They had the World Series on for the guys. So there's just, again, lots of things to do and enjoy, regardless of what it is you like. They have a little something for everyone.
And from here, we will head down to the dining room. We're waiting about 5 minutes here. We were a little bit early, and the next step is down to the dining room. And the last night, they do Baked Alaska. We had 2 lobster nights on here, too. And here is the Baked Alaska Parade.
The whole cook staff, wait staff, all the chefs from the kitchen, everybody comes up, and they parade the Baked Alaskas around. And then there's a fun song, and everybody waves their napkins, and just generally shows the appreciation of how amazing these guys are and how creative they are with their food preparation and presentation. Like I say, every night they made an effort to give Gordon his choice in gluten-free foods that matched everyone else. There's our wait staff with their Baked Alaska for us, and a last trip to the Wheelhouse Bar
for Phoenix Rising, and it is goodbye from here, farewell, so long. This is the time that we cry and wish that we could get right back on again.